published today, inviting submission of views and notifying the public of hearings on the special motion, list all 290 constituencies and indicate that the exercise is to be coordinated from 47 count venues or collection centers across the country. Arising from the members' briefing held earlier today, I wish to clarify that the public participation program additionally contemplates the collection of views at the constituency level. In this regard, I confirm that the officers of the clerk shall be present to assist the collection and compilation of views from onward transmission to the office of the clerk through the respective collection compilation centers specified in the public advertisements. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader. Bukosi, you want to stand in for them?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Majority Leader, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024 afternoon sitting. 1, the 2024 Annual Public Debt Management Report from the National Treasury and Economic Planning, and 2, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, Annual Report for the period ended 30th June 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, Honorable Murugara, your report is on my desk.
It's on my desk, yeah.
I'm going through it and have some issues with it. I need to discuss with you.
I've been informed. I was informed, Your Honor, I was informed. I have to come and see you. We have a discussion.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, there is a request for statement by Peter Mbogo, MP Mwatate. Is he in the House? Peter Mbogo. Honorable Tindi Mwale, you may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the fight against drug trafficking in the country. Honorable Speaker, over the years, Kenya has been identified as a transit country for heroin trafficking, trafficked from Afghanistan and the Arabian Gulf to Europe and Americas and other parts of Africa. Presently, there is a huge domestic heroin and cocaine abuse problem, particularly in the coastal region. Despite concerted effort by the government, there have been reports of state and public officials facilitating the inland movement of heroin and other drugs, as well as the activities of certain organized crime groups. A notable axis exists in Kenya between heroin trafficking and other crimes, such as corruption, human smuggling, armed trafficking, and poaching. The country also remains a transshipment point for the global cocaine trade. Reports indicate that upon arrival in Kenya, cocaine is shipped onwards to Ethiopia, Tanzania, Somalia, both for consumption and onward trade. It is noted that Kenya's cocaine trafficking market is attributed to limited maritime enforcement capabilities and hampered drug interception, as well as involvement of law enforcement officers who have been identified as the primary organizers and facilitators of cocaine distribution and retail sale within the country. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security to appraise the House on the following. Roman 1, the number of users of hard drugs in the country registered by National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug Abuse, NACADA, with specific focus on heroin and cocaine. Roman 2, the reported involvement of the law enforcement officers, especially Kenya Police and the National Intelligence Service, in facilitating cocaine transit, distributing, and sale in the country. And 3, Roman 3, the status of the war against drug abuse, including an enumeration of rehabilitation programs for persons affected by drug abuse, majority of whom are the youth. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Tindi Mwale, Chairman, Administration and Internal Security, Tongoyo. Yes, Rindikiri, I am a member of the committee.
No, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to
say something to it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, this issue of drug and substance abuse is increasing day by day, particularly among our youth and in schools. Honorable Mwale has brought it at the right time, and I think it's a serious problem, and this needs to be fast-tracked. And I think we need more information from every region. I agree with the statement that there are some public officers who are conduits and the protectors of the drug traffickers. Mr. Speaker, if we have to save the generation of our youth, I think we need to have a deeper report, and I'm pleading with all the members in this House, including myself, that we avail information on what we know, not necessarily in one specific region. We all come up together and join hands, providing information that we collect from the constituencies so that this report is properly enhanced. I ask that the committee should not latch on this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Rwanda.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, nampongeza mwanzo mheshimiwa kwa kuleta swala hili la mihadharati hapa bungeni. Kusema la kweli, hili swala linatuathiri sana. Na kabla sijaendelea kuchangia, nataka mheshimiwa uchukue tahadhari sana. Mimi mwenyewe hapa nilikuja nikataja majina ya kwangu, na ilikuwa mwanzo wa maisha yangu kubadilika. Bunge la 12 nilikasirika, ilikuwa imezidi, nikaja nikataja jina. Maisha yangu ilibadilika, ikabidi sasa nitembee na askari kila pahali. Na nikaongezewa na askari. Na nashukuru bunge hili walinisaidia sana. Hii shida iko na ilikuwa imeletwa mpaka kuzungumza, inakuwa ukizungumza wewe ndio unakuwa mbaya. Wale wanauza mihadharati si wabaya, wewe unayezungumza kama mbunge. Kuna siku mimi nilienda pahali kwa mkutano, nikazungumza, nilikaribishwa nikazungumza. Kuna mtu alikuja akanishika hivi, akaniambia usizungumze maneno hayo. Yaani ukizungumza umewaletea wao shida. Wamekuwa wale wanayouza wana power zaidi kushinda hata wewe mbunge, unakatazwa hata usizungumze. Wakati experience yangu, wakati nikiomba kura, madrag dealer paka wa Lamu West wote walitoka wakaja Lamu East kunipinga nisipate, lakini Mwenyezi Mungu akawa na mimi na ndio nikarudi hapa. Hii tatizo kwangu Lamu East iko kubwa sana. youth wetu ilikuwa percentage inaongezeka. Mwanzo ilikuwa ni nimesahau hizo numbers, lakini Red Cross wanazo. Vile inaongezeka ni maajabu. Watoto wameathirika, watoto ni vulnerable kwa sababu wako pale karibu na mpaka. Wale wakitumika vibaya itaanza kuleta hatari sana. Kwa hivyo jambo hili la mihadharati, mimi nataka pia kama ni waziri anakuja na mimi nije nichangie hapo. Sahihi, naomba permission kabisa niwe friend of that committee, niende pia. Kuna matatizo tunawajua paka majina tunawajua speaker. Kama kwangu eneo bunge langu wote wanauza mihadharati. Ukichukua mtoto ukimwambia nipeleke nani anauza mihadharati, anaweza kuonesha ni huyu anauza mihadharati. Lakini ukitaja majina nitapata tena shida nyingine. Hiyo shida nimeipata paka naogopa sasa. Ni shida. Watoto utamuona ameumia, anatoka usaha, ukimpa 200 anakimbilia nipe 200 aende hospitali, anaenda kula mihadharati. Hili tatizo liko na linatuathiri sana. Na tukiliacha kuendelea zaidi itatuathiri zaidi. Asante. Sasa hii angalau mmeanza kusema huku, lakini cost ni zaidi. Lilikuwa ni janga la cost tu, sasa ile kwa limekuwa janga la Kenya nzima, cocaine. Asante. Na kwangu si cocaine peke yake. Kwangu kuna drugs zinatoka ni tembe. Zinaitwa karambela. Nimezungumza paka kwa security meeting, naambiwa zilete hizo karambela tuzione, hatuzijui. Lakini kisha wao wenyewe wameniambia wamezipata. Karambela inauzwa shilingi 20. Youth akikula hizo karambela anakuwa wild animal. Anaweza fanya chochote. Na ziko na hakuna kitu inachukuliwa. Na ziko speaker, wewe mwenyewe ukitumana hapa mtu aenda kanunue pahali, utapelekwa paka hapa ndio anauza. Hakuna ambaye hajui nani anauza. Ni hawachukui tu majukumu. Asante.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. And I think cost, yes, suffers a disproportionately higher percentage of users, but cities like Nairobi are also suffering. And Mr. Speaker, as this request for statement goes to the committee, I'm hoping that the committee will apply itself on 2 very critical issues. One, on the role of NACADA. Mr. Speaker, NACADA in its current form and state cannot deal with the drug issue in this country. In fact, we might want to think as a parliament whether we want to make NACADA to be directly under the President's office or the Ministry of Interior, so that it gets the teeth that it needs to bite. Because the elements that are needed...
NACADA is under Ministry of Interior.
In agreement, Mr. Speaker, yes. You didn't let me prosecute. Yes. It is not fully there because, Mr. Speaker, there are some functions of NACADA that have been taken up and put in county governments. And what is happening is that the revenue that counties are looking for is encouraging them to open as many bars as possible. And these bars, not only is alcohol being consumed there, but these bars are also the places where drugs are being trafficked through. So NACADA now ends up suffering the problem of not having resources to undertake the war against drugs, but the counties on the other side are also licensing too many bars, even close to schools, close to hospitals, residential areas, and so on. The second issue, Mr. Speaker, is that when the issue of drugs was brought to this parliament, you are a member of parliament, Mr. Speaker, and I do remember the former minister, Minister Saitoti, and the issues that were prosecuted in this house. Mr. Speaker, we will need as a nation to move this war of drugs from fighting users to following the chain. From the user, there is a peddler. From the peddler, there is a dealer. From the dealer, there is the baron. From the baron, there are international cartels. And this user would never get the drugs if these drugs never found their way into the territory of Kenya. So the problem is way higher up than this young man or woman that we are criminalizing as a user. The user is at the end of the chain. So as the committee is prosecuting this matter, let us also see what it is that we can do to upscale this fight from the level of the ground where we are criminalizing the user all the way to the peddler, to the dealer, to the baron, and see how then we can also arrest it using the international instruments that are available. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity.
Justice Kamei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to add my voice to this very, very pertinent subject. an issue that is threatening the generations of this country. Earlier on, Mr. Speaker, we used to think that it was a phenomenon of cities like Mombasa and Nairobi. The truth of the matter right now is that this substance abuse has gone to rural areas like our constituencies. In my constituency, Mr. Speaker, there is something called Kutber. I don't know where it came from. Kuber. Something called Kuber. I don't know where it came from. That language does not even belong.
It's called?
Kuber.
Kuber.
Kuber. K-U-B-E-R. I don't know where it came from. You see a young man putting it in his mouth. The next thing is a pale shadow of himself. It is spreading in so many schools, institutions, Mr. Speaker, and it is threatening the generations of this country. Mr. Speaker, I want us as Parliament to apply ourselves fully to this issue and not to leave it to the Ministry of Interior alone and not leave it to NACADA alone. Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Yes, Ounda.
Honorable Speaker, thanks a lot for my colleague, Mheshimiwa Tindi Mwale, for bringing this matter. But I think it's being too elitist to only consider these imported and high-value drugs. Honorable Speaker, where we come from, we have the maintenance of bang, sativa, whatever it's called, bang. And Honorable Speaker, I'm the first.
It's called cannabis sativa.
Cannabis sativa. I'm most unfortunate because I border Uganda. And what happens, nowadays the growing is being done in Uganda, and Funila constituency, particularly the border point at Bukwamba and part of Sigalame, is the entry point to Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, I will shock you beyond belief that actually the people who are growing bang in Uganda and transport and peddling through across Kenya to come to Nairobi are actually the policemen. They are the policemen. And we have raised this issue continuously. I even raised it with the county commander.
Are you saying Kenyan policemen?
Yes, Kenyan policemen.
In Uganda?
Yes, they cross over to Uganda and grow bang and bring and they make sure they supervise the border point, because Apora's border point, through Mulwanda, Sigalame, and Bukwamba, and actually transport it and they escort it all the way, Honorable Speaker, to here Nairobi. You can see how deep rooted this menace is, how well it is supported and protected by the security forces. And that's why we want to ask the committee, and it's good has been directed to the Committee of Internal Security. They really need to rein on their police force and all security apparatus in this country. Yes, they make a lot of money from it, much more than they make from their salaries and allowances. But you cannot do that at the expense of the young people in this country. Honorable Speaker, if you go to most schools in Western Kenya, when you look at the boys and the girls, even the girls are becoming notorious. They look like zombies. We are even worried. We used to laugh that people from Mount Kenya region and Central, their classrooms, kindergarten classrooms were empty. Probably the next few years to come, in Western Kenya, also the classrooms are going to be empty because the boys are not doing the work they are supposed to do. Women are complaining all over, Honorable Speaker. We ask you for your assistance to solve this menace so that we can continue to reproduce, because we need more numbers to take over our position as we grow old. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.